Dr. Meredith again. Thank you for tuning in. I hope we learn together, and I hope you share it with as many people so that we can be learning and growing together. In this video, I want to talk about failing to learn from our mistakes. Failing to learn from our mistakes, right? So we all fallible. We will all make mistakes. We've all made mistakes, and we will all make mistakes as we live this life, as long as we're alive. But I think there's something about, mistakes that sometimes, instead of owning up to our own mistakes and learning from the mistakes we've made, we can become vindictive, we can become defensive, we can even become offensive. And as a result, we actually don't learn from those mistakes. But when we fail to learn from our mistakes, chances of repeating them are high. But also, we almost limit our own growth. We limit our own growth because remember, you can't change if you have not accepted that something exists. You cannot change after you have not accepted that, I have made a mistake, and it was a mistake. And I think one thing that also happens, we have work environments where mistakes are seen as intolerable. So as a result, what we do, we hide those mistakes. And when we hide those mistakes, we are actually not learning from those mistakes. The chances of them repeating, very high. Very high. The question is, how are you learning from the mistakes that you have made? Or how are you also teaching others? Because when you learn, you can actually also educate others and say, hey, because of this mistake, whether it was a financial mistake, whether it was a relational mistake, whether it was a performance mistake, work performance mistake, hey, because of this, this is what I learned after I made this mistake. And it makes us very vulnerable. So a lot of the times, we don't want to admit that we made mistakes. We don't want to admit that, we didn't know, or, we overestimated our own sort of intelligence or knowledge, and therefore we made a mistake. Or we really just made a mistake. So we need to get to a place where we're vulnerable enough to say, hey, I own my mistakes. I've made a mistake, and this is what I am going to learn from it. And this is also what I can help others learn from the mistakes that I've made. So yes, organizations sometimes, or teams or leaders, can say mistakes are intolerable. But the truth is that we all make mistakes, and mistakes are going to be made whether we like it or not. But if we may learn from the mistakes, chances of us repeating them are minimized. So are we learning from mistakes, or we are avoiding learning from mistakes by denigrating, blaming others, and making them feel like they don't belong because they made mistakes? So we need to be learning from our mistakes, because if we don't learn from mistakes, chances of repeating them, but also chances of becoming inauthentic, very, very high when we're not learning from our mistakes. Thanks for tuning in.